In the summer of 1936, international athletes converged on Germany for the 11th Olympics in Berlin. It was a far cry from the naivety of London 30 years before. The athletes were about to take part in one of the most carefully orchestrated propaganda events of the century. Robert Mitchell was a member of England's water polo team.
We were taken straight off to the Olympic Village, and obviously it was a beautiful village in this pine forest, and I think they were all pretty impressed by what we saw. We tried to pretend to the Germans that we weren't, but I think we really were.
18-year-old American runner Helen Stevens was a farmer's daughter.
It was a sort of a shock to go from America in a Depression time and to go over there to Germany and find that they were seemingly living pretty good, and it was a police state. Troops were everywhere.
German highboard champs display their talent, which looks okey-doke, but hold everything. The army is muscled in with full pack and steel helmet. How cute. Is this a raid, or is he a Marine?
The opening was a carefully staged spectacle to lend a glow of Olympian majesty to the Third Reich. Outside, the torch was nearing the end of its relay run from Greece. Its arrival would be the climax. "20-year-old FRITZ SCHILGEN chosen to carry the flame on the final leg into the stadium. SCHILGEN would be the living symbol of the Olympian spirit, and at the same time of the Aryan ideal. His blonde, blue-eyed looks helped win him the role.
Everything was done to make the whole affair most effective. Naturally, in the climate of 1936, I wasn't selected just for my running style.
Nicht der Laufstil allein entscheidend.
Was 1936 was without any doubt an opportunity to show off. It also meant showing what was behind it.
Was dahinter steht. Eine einheitliche, vermeintliche...
A united, supposedly united way of thinking. I believe only a few of the sportsmen were aware of this.
Den Sportlern in wenigsten Fällen bewusst waren.
The German winners, each medal won, helped to justify the investment made and bring respectability. The German athletes were soldiers on the propaganda battlefield. Nationalism was in the air and in the water.
Playing water polo, now when we started a game, certain countries, particularly if Hitler was there, would line up in front of Hitler and all give the Nazi salute in the water. The whole team would line up. And we sort of stood and lounged against the goalpost at the other end, you see, and tried to look as lounging as we could, you see.
The British water polo team wasn't a serious threat to the Nazi scenario, but the black athletes from the United States were, and they dominated events, both on the field and track. Jesse Owens led the way with 4 gold medals.
The competition's been, I'm glad to come out on top. Thank you very kindly.
The success of the black athletes was hard for the Nazis to accept. Hitler's failure to congratulate Owens was widely reported in America. A victory by a white American woman was treated quite differently.
In the ladies' 100-meter final, glimpse of America's Helen Stevens, who developed her speed chasing rabbits on a Missouri farm. And here you see it, winging her way to a new universal mark of 11 5/10 seconds, while the greatest proud Olympic history salutes another member of the Star-Spangled Brigade of gold medal champions.
After the American girls' win, Hitler summoned her back to his private box.
I said, I believe Hitler's going to shoot me because I see some of those black shirts coming in here and they're testing their Lugers, pulling them in now, their holsters. And then they arrayed themselves around the room, and then Hitler came in, accompanied by an interpreter, and gave us a sloppy salute. And I didn't return it. I gave him a good old Missouri handshake, and I put extra pressure on it, and that gave him the wrong message because he began to hug me and pinch me and squeeze me and see if I was real. And he said, how about spending the weekend with me in Burgerstown? That was his mountain retreat.
Helen Stevens declined the invitation.
Then he wished me well, hugged me again, pinched me, and laughed.
Hitler had impressed the world, successfully blending National Socialist ideals with Olympic images. Germany basked, for the moment at least, in the reflected glory. As the 1936 Olympics came to a close, the power stage management was hard to resist.
The lights were coming down and the Olympic flame went out, and then there was utter silence and utter darkness, and it really was most impressive. And then they started Sieg Heil, and that was when 100,000 people were going Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil, and I literally put my hands in my pocket, literally, to stop myself being hypnotized into doing it with them. It was absolutely hypnotic.